Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Unfiltered Nonprofit Podcast, where I created this platform so that nonprofit leaders just like you can use it as your mastermind on the go. And today we have a special guest here, a very experienced and accomplished guest here with us today. Her name is Sam Laprade. And Sam has 30 years of experience in the industry, in the sector, helping various charities alongside with nonprofit leaders, helping organizations navigating fundraising strategy, donor relationships, and leadership transition. And she also worked with organizations like the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, Ottawa Humane Society, and Ottawa Mission, and now supports charities across the country through strategy, analytics, and executive recruitment. She's also the creator and host of An Hour to Give, which I was lucky enough to be on a couple of weeks ago. And also, she's won Order of Ottawa in 2023, Volunteer Ottawa Lifetime Achievement Award in 2025. And she also has been nominated for Canadian Podcast Awards. Well, welcome, Sam. That is quite a list to introduce you. I mean, that is still just a small section of what I wanted to say.
Oh, you're very kind, Cherry. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. I love all the work that Otis is doing, and I love how involved you are in the community. So it's great to be connected today.
Yeah, it's so awesome to have you. And the other night I was invited to your sector specific event. And tell us a little bit about the event. It's a huge event in Hard Rock Casino in Ottawa. Tell us a little bit about that event, and you somehow pull it all together in a very short period of time.
I'll be honest with you, I'm still buzzing about the event. We decided to celebrate charity rock stars and include all of these incredible people that were connected to An Hour to Give, and put them all in one place and have an evening for them. So many people in the philanthropic world are always doing something for others. We wanted to give back to those that work frontline every single day to make our city tick and to make sure that they know how grateful we are for all of them. And we decided to do a couple of things. I have great friends, of course, at the Hard Rock Ottawa, and reached out to Christine Crump and Tammy McMullen, and they could not say yes fast enough about the hosting out there. And then we invited the one and only Dr. Quadro Kiramantang, who is an incredible ICU doctor who has a very strong message about prevention over prescription. And then, of course, Cherry, my next call was to you because we wanted to know if you would be so gracious as to sponsor a book for every single person that walked in. So everybody walked away with a book that day. Thank you so much to Otis. The message that day was really about health for the helpers. How are we ensuring the people that are really trying to do this wonderful work in the philanthropy sector are also taking care of themselves? So there were some really great messages out of it, and it was fun. We had lots of prizes, and it was just a great night.
Yeah, I remember a few nuggets from Dr. K's book is the daily exercise, the steps. If you don't know already, I'm actually on top of my walking pad right now. So my goal is to get to 10,000 steps almost daily. And it's something that's very intriguing because a lot of us, particularly from COVID time, we are so used to working from home, and working from home a lot of the time means we're not doing anything for ourselves. So we don't even get out of the house. And some people are telling me I only get 1,000 steps a day. And I'm like, whoa, that is nothing. At least I come into my own office and I would get like a few thousand, even if I'm not intentional. So that is just one side of the equation, to be honest, because once you don't move enough, then you're kind of sluggish at times. And then everything spiraled down from there. So tell us a little bit about maybe what you learned from Dr. K.
Yeah, I think the steps was really important. One area that I am downfall in pretty much every day and night is sleep, the importance of sleep, the importance of rest. He really drove that home, and we even took a little bit of a detour. We talked a little bit about menopause and how important it is that women are getting the kind of help that they need when they enter perimenopause and menopause. I think there was a lot of really good messages as well regarding protein, the amount of protein we should be eating in a day. And what I love about Dr. K is he's a no nonsense doctor, but it doesn't feel, there's no shame and blame. He's all about what are the small steps, literally small steps that you can take every single day to see big changes. And, he'll often say to me, I don't want to see you in my ICU, Sam. He's always about how can we preventative to ensure that we have that energy for both work and family and for ourselves. So he's just a wonderful advocate for health and for preventative health.
Now, the reason why you have you hosted this event is because of your close tie with the industry altogether. You yourself, obviously, is already got your CFRE, your fundraising designation, and then you have been in the industry for such a long period of time. You've helped so many organizations raising funds, and I'm just going to pick your brain out here while I have you. Is that I have a client who's struggling, and they are a nonprofit. And I'm trying to convince their board to spend a little bit of their money on fundraising. So, like organizations are always in this catch-22 situation. Like if we are supposed to finish the program, but then if I dedicate all my resources in finishing the program, then the money cut, the next tranche of money is not coming in. So I need some money into fundraising. Like they're always into this struggle. Like, do I focus on delivery of service or do I focus on fundraising? What are your insights in doing fundraising effort in this, I guess, unprecedented time?
It's such a good question because it really is can be challenging for organizations to spend the money. What I always say to anybody that wants to hire their very first fundraiser, or maybe it's a time of transition, maybe someone's left and you're looking to rehire, I always say, how are we setting the fundraiser up for success? So if you are if you think you're going to hire someone that's going to sit at a computer all day and the money's going to just come out the printer, it's not going to happen. But if you're setting them up for success with a strong CRM, a great donor management tool, if your board is willing to open up doors, if you have either provided them or you're going to help them develop a great case for support, if you're going to have those great tools on your website, if your finance side is clean in terms of the receipts get out quick. If all of those foundational pieces for the fundraising house to be built on are strong, then go for it. But if you feel like you're lacking in terms of all of these elements that set a fundraiser up for success, work on those elements and then hire someone, or bring somebody in to build the house. But be honest with them that those foundational pieces still need to be constructed.
Yeah. So if an organization out there right now do not necessarily have immediate allowance in immediate room in their budget to hire someone, is full-time, or if it's part-time or consulting situation even helpful?
For sure it is. There's lots of people that do fractional fundraising. I'm one of them, where there's lots of people that do that kind of fractional fundraising where you go in, you have a specific, goal in mind to do that. So there's a couple of things. You've got a full-time fundraiser. They're going to come every single day for whatever, 40 hours a week and work on your items. So that's, they're getting to know the team. They're becoming a team member. If you have a part-time person, they're doing that, but maybe it's 20 hours a week, whatever that looks like. So of course, it's not going to have this type of strong relationships. If you have a fractional fundraiser, you're having them come in, do something very specific for a certain length of time. This isn't a long-term solution. It's a quick solution, but know that they can also, like any of these three roles, can only do so much. Fundraising is a team sport. So you wouldn't send out one person to play against the Seahawks, for instance,
Yep,
right,
yep,
that won the
yep.
Super Bowl.
Mhm.
You would send out a team to battle the team. So
Mm.
the same thing with fundraising. You're not sending one person out to do this job. So with any of the jobs, any of the roles that, the three sort of suggestions that we had, they also still need backup, right? They need someone else on the field to help carry the ball down the end. Sometimes I'll do a great proposal, but it's the board chair that knows the person better than I do. So the
Ah.
board chair takes it across the line. I'm happy to coach and I'm happy to do all those things,
Mm.
but sometimes I'm not the right person to actually do the ask.
Mm.
I always think about fundraising. People are going to give to the right cause at the right time for the right amount with the right ask. All those things have to be sort of in line for someone to give.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fantastic. Especially when you talk about having the support also from the board. What I've seen success, at least from interviewing some of the guests here and seeing from our client, is that we would have a very active and supportive board, and they understand the importance of fundraising, and then they reach out and they even sometimes support themselves, donate to the organization because they are so bought in with the cause, and small or big doesn't matter, they're still a donor, and then
Mhm.
from there it trickle down to the entire organization, including the employees, and that also brings change the whole culture. It all starts from the top rather than just one individual, and that's great
Yes.
insight.
Yes, 100%. And I always say too, and sometimes CEOs or EDs kind of bristle a little bit when I say this, but really, if they're not the chief fundraiser in that organization, then we're probably not starting off on the best foot. And I
Mm,
don't mean that they're the ones that are fundraising every day,
yeah.
but as the chief fundraiser, they have to set the tone
Mm,
amongst the whole organization. If somebody is fundraising for program X,
mm,
and the person that manages program X has no desire, no willingness to talk to the fundraiser about what that case for support is.
mm-hmm,
It takes the CEO and the ED to say to the program manager, unless you sort of provide this language and this stories and all of this, then your program won't be funded. So it's
mm-hmm,
best that you work with the fundraiser.
yeah.
Sometimes we see this with program people. They don't want to sort of get involved in the fundraising. It feels icky to them. But
Mm-hmm.
the reality is that program probably only exists because of the fundraising dollars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is such a good point. Now, I understand that you work a lot with analytics yourself,
Yes.
and tell us a little bit about that. Like, I know analytics, there could be. I mean, I work with numbers all the time, and our firm works with numbers all the time. But the reality is, from a fundraising perspective, other than just the dollar figure, there's a lot more going into it. Tell us a little bit about analytics that you work with.
Oh, Cherry, you're going to have to cut me off because I could talk about this all day long. What we do at Griffin Fundraising is we provide analytical reports
Hmm.
for nonprofits, charities all across the world. So we do
Oh,
work in Australia and the
oh,
US
wow.
and Canada, of course. And so what we do is we take non-identifying information, which is
Mm,
really key
yeah.
from the database, only 4 fields. We analyze this and provide the report usually back within 72, 96 hours. And this report is basically, I like to think of it as the donors talking to you through the data. So,
Mm,
how many donors only give to you once? That second gift conversion.
mm,
What's the long term donor value?
mm,
If someone gives you $100 in 2026, what's the value of that donor in 2026?
mm,
And I always think about analytics is what would you have wanted the fundraiser in 2016 to do to set you up for success today?
mm,
And what can you do today to set the fundraiser up for success in 2036?
mhm,
So this is really, there's, everything from renewal to reactivation to RFM, which is recency, frequency, and monetary,
mm,
consecutive years of giving. I could
yep,
go on forever. We do 28 different views of the data.
mm,
And then that data informs lots. One, how you're going to fundraise moving forward,
mhm,
segmenting the data, but it also talks about the human resources part.
mhm,
If I have a really strong monthly giving program, but I don't have anybody managing that program. Maybe that's where I find my next staff member. So there's lots of ways people use the data report.
Oh, awesome. That's fantastic. So if you have the data, let's say, hey, we have the data, the email list is very cold, they're not very motivated. We try to send, let's say we try to send email for fundraising and only a very small percentage would respond. What would you suggest to that organization then?
Yeah, I would suggest a couple of things. I would analyze the data. I would analyze the cost of fundraising. So what is it costing you and what are you getting back? The other thing I would suggest is to have someone from the outside do an audit. So I do a lot of audits for organizations. I audit everything from their website to their thank you note to their gift processing and everything in between. So an audit of what that appeal is, and then suggest maybe some A/B testing. Maybe it's the format. Maybe the email isn't getting into emails because of the spam filter. So there's lots of different ways to look at the success of a campaign.
Oh, that's amazing. So starting with the data and looking at the external, all the objective data first, and then plan out the course of actions, follow up with it, and then recheck the data afterwards. And then there is where the gold is.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of scientific steps in between to get to the fundraising part.
Well, you would laugh because honestly, I spent half my career just doing the art of fundraising. And when I layered on the science, so I do the art and science now, my career just went through the roof because I enjoyed it more. I found it more fulfilling. And honestly, I was more successful.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Great. Okay. So you also help organizations look for their fundraising talent. You don't just do the strategy. I know you do strategies, you look at data, but you also do this recruitment. How did you start this?
So I am not an HR person by any stretch. This is all about my network and all about really knowing what it's like to work as a frontline fundraiser. So just as the pandemic had started, one of my dear friends who works in nonprofit asked me to help her find a fundraiser. And because we were all doing everything online, we had these interviews online. And then she said, afterwards, she said, I think you really actually fill a gap. Because, CEOs and executive directors are so worried to hire the wrong fundraiser.
Absolutely.
Not even about hiring the right person, but how do I know this is if this is the wrong person to bring in? And honestly, I started to sort of word of mouth got out about me doing this. And I've placed 48 people since 2020.
That's great.
And I'm doing 2 recruitments right now, which will bring me to 50. And I think one of the best things is ensuring that it's a fit for the organization. Fit is everything. Some things can be taught, but culture and fit is really everything.
100%, absolutely. Especially understanding the organization's actual problem and being able to identify, hey, you need a junior person, or you need a senior person, or you need a manager level. It's very different from organization to organization.
100%.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Now, I have some prepared questions about fundraising, and I think you can just answer whatever it comes out. And some of them are really insightful, in my opinion. So let's share all that ideas with our audience. Okay, where do you see the executive directors out there that you work with unintentionally make fundraising activities harder for their teams?
Oh, how much time do we have today? I think they tend to focus on events as opposed to major gifts. So they'll put a lot of energy into a gala or into a run or a walk or whatever tournament they've got going on, and very little effort into true philanthropic fundraising and putting energy into sustainable fundraising programs like a monthly giving program, or really trying to find and give their team the tools they need to create a strong major gifts program. And the one that really keeps me up at night is the amount of executive directors that don't understand the impact of legacy giving, because the gift potentially could be coming in 15 or 20 years from now. I always say to them, what would happen if someone did this in 2000 and you're receiving a gift today of $1 million?
Yeah.
You would be ecstatic to have that kind of transformational gift. You need to lay that foundation now. So that's another area I think is unfortunately missing quite a bit.
Some really smart guy once told me that you got to work on today's revenue. You also need to do something to work on your future revenue. And
Bingo.
that is something that I've seen in the nonprofit sector that's a little bit lacking. Some organizations are really good, but some organizations are just not there at all. The email that you send today about fundraising, the email content you send today may not be really triggering the real impact today, or the phone call that you're doing, the relationships you're building. The reality is that somehow down the road, when the right timing hits, it's going to trigger what it's meant to be. But well, this is something that our sector needs to really think about.
Agreed.
Yeah. So what's the one thing strong EDs do, the strong executive directors do differently when working with their boards around fundraising?
I think strong EDs work with their boards, particularly their chairs and their executive committee, to ensure that when new board members are brought on board, they are told there is a culture of philanthropy, that there is an understanding on that board that everybody gives a meaningful gift. And that could be $25 for someone and $25,000 for another. It really has to sort of, be a constant, that sort of, that culture of philanthropy is embedded with them. And also that there are tools and strategies that board members can undertake to ensure that they support fundraising. And I think strong EDs are not shy to tell them that and to work with them.
Yeah.
And find, usually a champion on the board. Typically it's the chair that undertakes that campaign with board members to ensure that those monies are received every year.
Absolutely. And ED always feel, maybe the executive director, some of the executive director we see is that they are always feeling the pressure to do more fundraising. And some of the people are very aware of their capacity. And really in this catch-22 situation, how do they even start? Because they are burnout, they have their day job to do. And then how do they even carve out time? Like, what would you suggest to them?
For the board member or for the executive director?
For the executive director.
Yeah, I think this is a really important piece. If I always think that an organization needs 5 things. They need a strong strategic plan.
Yep.
But the strategic plan needs to influence the case for support. The case for support needs to be reflected. They need to be able to mirror each other. If you have a strong strategic plan, but nowhere does it talk about the case for support or the language, that's a problem. And then the next piece is the case for support needs to have a strong fundraising plan. Supported by, fourth is the strong stewardship plan. And overarching on all of it is a strong comms plan. Because we know sometimes that in organizations, the communications is done over here in silo B, where the fundraising is being done in silo A, and neither the two meet. And so those 5 documents, strategic plan, case for support, fundraising plan, stewardship plan, and comms plan, all need to work like a big giant cake. Because we would never eat this cake one layer at a time. We would take a nice slice down the middle, and we would have a little bit of that in every single slice of that cake.
Wow, that's fantastic analogy. I love that layer, foundation, and all that all together. Now, last question. You've worked through several fundraising cycles. What patterns do you see repeating when organizations struggle? And when would they be able to break through?
I see people struggle when, it's October 1st and that's when they decide they're going to create their holiday mailing.
Mm,
It needs fundraising, although we really fundraise. People don't like to say this, but the truth is we really fundraise for about 8 months of the year.
mm,
It's really difficult to do fundraising in January. It's very difficult to do fundraising even at the latter half of June,
mm,
July, and August. It's challenging during those times
mm,
because of what's happening. So there's kind of about 9 months there. You've got solid fundraising time. Using the times that that aren't traditional fundraising times to set yourself up for success and do A/B testing. Try some of those pieces out and try to have as many face-to-face meetings as you can,
mm.
not during December, because
Yeah.
it's hard to get chatting with people in December. But ask for those face-to-face meetings
Mm,
all year long, leading up to those times where we know it's the big fundraising times, and create your own big fundraising time. And I think about the Ottawa Heart Institute. They use February beautifully.
mhm,
There's not a lot of people fundraising in February, but because February is Heart Month, they've sort of taken that on and owned it, right?
mhm.
Find what you can own, whether it's a week, a month, a period of time, and use that as a campaign period.
Awesome. I hear that consistency is the key, and then stand out and make something like stand out in terms of fundraising effort. Own the month that you want to own, and then make it your own, and that's how you succeed getting money consistently.
Yes, 100%. And don't be shy. Reach out to people that, you may not think have an affiliation, but once you ask, somebody the question, does this inspire you? And when people say no, I always think of it as a not yet.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. That's the positive spin that
Yeah.
we all need to have. Now, I've taken up so much of your time. I have one last question for you. This one is easy. How do people
Okay.
get in touch with you if they need
Oh,
help hiring or if they need some help with their fundraising strategy?
samlaprade.com has all of the details there. It connects to Griffin. It connects to all of the different things I do, and I'd be happy to chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. This is really helpful and very insightful. I look forward to seeing you at various different events again.
Thanks so much, Sherry.
Thank you. As we wrap up, I want to share a bit more about what we do at Otis Financial Solutions. For the past 18 years, Otis Financial Solutions has been dedicated to enhancing the financial management and strategic planning capabilities of hundreds of associations and nonprofits across Canada. Our extensive experience has enabled us to deliver tailored financial solutions that drive growth and enhance sustainability for nonprofits and associations. If you are interested in learning more about how Otis Financial Solutions can support your organization, I would love to offer you a no obligation 20-minute call. Let's discuss your unique challenges and explore how we would be able to help you achieve your goals.